back here at Lakota Field. Counting down the final seconds here of the halftime. And if you are sitting at the home watching this after the fact and going, where's the bands? They did not come onto the field. The rain was such that I spoke with Mr. Kohlmeyer before the game, and he told me that if the rain was really coming down, that the band would not go out onto the field because, the various parts of the instruments are made out of wood and cork and so forth, and it can be rather damaging to them to be out in the inclement weather. So the Lakota band did not take to the field either. So we just kind of sat back here in the press box, stayed dry, chatted with some of our broadcast compatriots that are up here with us, sharing the space. And now, they put the 3-minute warm-up onto the clock here, and we'll get ready to get this second half underway. Thought we would take a little extra time here since we didn't have any halftime entertainment to fill you in on a few things. First off, again, if you are just joining us, we are at halftime, and the Aces are leading the Lakota Raiders 34-12. Really, not a lot of scoring. I mean, it was about an average game up until about 3.5 minutes to go before halftime. And then between the weather and the wet ball and just some awesome offensive plays, we had like a barrage of scoring. We literally were trading scores. So the Aces scored twice and Lakota scored once. I mean, the Aces scored, then Lakota came right back and returned a kick for a touchdown. And then the Aces pretty much returned the favor and scored again. So Aces, again, up now by 22, 34-12. And, again, we want to say a huge thank you to the athletic department here at Kansas Lakota, making us feel very welcome. We got a nice space here in the press box. Kind of close quarters. There's a lot of people up here. But, again, we've made do very well. And I know we've had some people in the background every now and then, but that's just to be expected. So we want to, again, thank them so very much. It's been a real fun night here so far, and we're looking forward to the second half. Again, the monsoon hit early in the second quarter, and, man, it rained cats and dogs for a while. So that's going to mean that the field is going to be still wet and soggy. And really, the rain has been continuing pretty much unabated since then. It has slacked way off. We do not have the thunderous monsoon downpour that we had earlier, but we do have again, a kind of a misty constant rain falling right now. The umbrellas are still out, and in all honesty, we've probably lost about half of the crowd here on the Lakota side of the field. Over on the Aces side, most of the diehards are still over there. And if you're going to drive an hour and a half to see a football game, by golly, you're going to see your football game. So hats off to the Aces faithful who are sitting in the stands and trying their best to stay dry as we get ready for the second half of this football game. And it is homecoming night here at Lakota, so the Aces again are looking to maybe be the spoilers for the Raiders' homecoming. But we want to wish the very best to all the members of the homecoming court here at Lakota High School. Congratulations to all of them. All right. The Aces will get the ball to start the third quarter. They kicked it off to the Raiders to begin the game. So the Aces will be on offense first. Lakota will tee the ball up. And they'll kick the ball out of bounds. But again, you can kind of tell how wet that turf is because you could see the ball kind of like bite into the grass and sort of skid along. So looks like they're going to place the ball at the 35-yard line, and that's where the Aces will have it 1st and 10. No time off the clock with the kick going out of bounds. And so we'll be ready to go here. Miller checking the sideline. Jake gets the snap. Ball in the air, and intended receiver Langham, and just a little behind him and low and out of reach. So Langham not able to complete the pass. It'll be 2nd and 10. As again, it looks like the rain has let up, at least for the time being. So we'll see if we're done for the night or if we've got more coming our way. High snap, but it's under control. Handoff. And another strong carry, almost 1st down yardage. It's going to be about a yard shy. So Comiso will get him 9 on the 2nd down carry. That'll bring up a manageable 3rd and 1. There's a snap. And should be 1st down carry. So Miller hangs on to the ball, and he bounces around a little bit, but he manages to keep his legs churning and falls forward to get the yard that they need and a little bit extra. So 1st and 10 for the Aces as they get across the 45. Comiso, the split back, besides Miller. Another high snap, and Miller hangs on to it himself. Jake finds himself some running room, and Miller does a good job working his way through the defenders. And that'll be another 1st down. So Miller manages to get him about 11 yards on that carry. He's across midfield and into the Raiders' half of the field, and it's 1st and 10 Aces at the Lakota 43-yard line. And we're going to have another official timeout here. And it looks like there's an equipment issue with Miller. So he'll come out for a play. Pitch out to Comiso. Comiso turns the corner. Comiso still on his feet. And Mason down to about the 25-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Aces. Raiders cheerleaders have these little light up blue, they have these little blue lights that light up on their hair scrunchies. Handoff. Still on his feet, Comiso working his way through traffic. Mason shakes and bakes and manages to tiptoe his way down to the 12-yard line. Anyway, the cheerleaders for the Raiders have these little hair scrunchies that have blue lights on. Their advisor has like a string of bright blue light. We're in the dark press box, and I'll sit out the corner of my eye. I see all these blue lights flashing all over the place, and that's why I paused there in my announcing, because I was wondering what the heck, what the heck was going on. But it's just the cheerleading advisor. At least I think that's who she is. Man in motion for the Aces. Miller back in, and that's going to be an easy touchdown for Mason Comiso. He fakes the one handoff. Miller spins around, puts it in Comiso's breadbasket, and Mason scampers into the end zone. That'll make it 40-12. That's a 28-point lead. So if the Aces go for a 2-point conversion here and make it, they would go up by 30 points, which would institute the running clock. And that is what they're going to try to do. And I think they did it. They did. So the 2-point conversion is successful. Aces go up 30, or make that 42-12, a 30-point advantage, which should institute the running clock, which, as we know, because the Aces have been on the receiving end of the running clock a couple of times this season, if you're the team that's behind and the running clock kicks in, it can make it really tough to get back into the game. So the running clock will start on the kickoff here, and that means that the Raiders are going to need to score some points to get the clock back to normal operation. But again, when the running clock is underway, it stops for very few things. They will stop the clock for a change of possession. They will stop the clock if one of the teams calls timeout, or the officials can suspend it for an injury or something along those lines. But that's pretty much it. I mean, they won't stop the clock for incomplete passes, for penalties, for stepping out of bounds. So Hicksville puts the ball in the air, and that's going to go out of bounds on the far sideline. Neither team is going to be writing home to mom about how well they did in the kicking game here tonight. It's been okay, but we've had a lot of flags thrown with a lot of balls being kicked out of bounds. And again, not really surprising with the field conditions and how damp it is out there, though again, it looks like the rain, at least for now, has stopped. Or if it is still raining, it's a light misty rain, but I don't see nearly as many. Now, most of the umbrellas have been put away, so I'm going to say that, yep, it has stopped for the time being. Clock rolls, and here we go. Dropping back to pass, looking downfield, nothing there. Now he's going to tuck it under and try to get what he can. And that's going to be maybe a couple of yards. As Frank's not able to find anybody open down the field, so he winds up tucking the ball under, and they're going to give him 3 to make it 2nd and 7. So they'll wait for the play to come in from the sideline. Down to 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. As the Raiders break huddle. And timeout. They were getting mighty close. So that stops the clock at 7:11, but they must have been getting pretty close to burning up the play clock, because they had used up a good 18 seconds at the time. When I said, 7.5 minutes to go, it was down to 19 seconds when they blew the whistle. And if the play clock had been going for a second or two before that, they might have been getting mighty close. So that's the first time out for the second half gone for the Raiders. They're breaking huddle now. 2nd and 7 for Lakota. 7:11 to go. They'll get themselves set. Clock will start when the ball is snapped. Dropping back to pass. Ball is in the air, and there's nobody there. I think the intended receiver was number 3, Elijah Franks, and I think Franks broke the wrong way. So that'll make it 3rd down and 7. And they'll break huddle. Ball snap, rolling out, and we're going to have a flag on the play. Ball was carried by Schmeltz, and that's going to be against Lakota. It was a hold, but the Aces are going to decline it, and that'll bring up 4th down. So, instead of giving him another crack at a 3rd and 12, the Aces declined the penalty to make it 4th and 7. And again, Raiders really don't have a heck of a lot of choice. They're down by 30, and they got to get points on the board to get that running clock. But they are punting it away. Aces don't send anybody back, and they'll just let it roll dead at about the... Looks like about the 16, 17-yard line. So they'll put it on the 16-yard line, and really they might as well do that because, again, the Aces are up by 30, and the running clock is in effect. So as long as they can just, take their time, they're not going to need to rush or whatever. They're going to be able to burn a lot of time off of this clock here on this possession, even if it doesn't really result in much in the way of points or anything along those lines. Even with a 3 and out, they could really, really milk the clock for a lot. Jake Miller handing it off. And is that Comiso with the ball? And he is still on his feet. And he is into the end zone, touchdown. So I'm not sure, is that number 11? So I think it would have been Wortman rather than Comiso. But still, that's an 84-yard scamper to make it 48-12. And as is often the case, once they get ahead and they're comfortable here in the second half, they go to kicking the extra point, which they do and which they succeed. So 49-12 the score now as the Aces increase their lead now to 37 and make it just that more difficult for the Raiders to get the point differential below 30. And the Aces, after all the time I spent talking about how they could really milk the clock and take a lot of time off the clock, really only take off about 15, 20 seconds. So we still have 5:01 to go here in quarter number 3. It's getting kind of nice now. The rain has stopped. Got a nice breeze. Oh, the rain is starting up again now. I look out across the field and see again we have a light downpour. The umbrellas come back out. So it's going to be one of those soggy nights, it looks like. So the Aces are going to kick it off to Kansas Lakota once again. And here we go. Gets his foot into it. Caught back at about the 20-yard line. Trying to make his way upfield and wrapped up and brought down at about 35. A nice return, about 15 yards. So they'll pause the clock here briefly while they establish the change of possession. So they're going to give them an extra yard, put it on the 36, 1st and 10 for the Raiders. 4:44, and the clock starts rolling as soon as they get the ball placed. So down to 4:40. And here come the Raiders. Number 4, Daniel Schmaltz, in at QB. And a carry out to about the 40-yard line.
Number 32, David Fry, the carry. From number 51, Lex Korber. Picked up about 4 yards, 2nd and 6.
Schmaltz, and another handoff.
Number 32, David Fry.
That's, again, David Fry making the carry. He's carried it the last couple of times, and this time he'll get him a first down. So fresh set of downs for the Lakota Raiders. They'll continue to work out of the shotgun. Three wide receivers out here, side towards us. And the ball is loose on the turf, and we'll see who comes up with that. The Aces are saying they have it, but we're waiting for an official. And they're going to say the Aces have indeed recovered the fumble. Jackson Bergman getting in there and grabbing the pigskin. So the turnover as a result of fumble goes the Aces' way, and they'll get the ball back, 1st and 10 on the Lakota 44-yard line. With 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go here in the third quarter. And taken down in the backfield is Balzer. So they'll lose about 6. So Balzer, as again the Aces have got a lot of the younger players out there tonight at this point in the game. Aaron Klima, number 20, I believe, doing the quarterbacking. Again, a handoff to Balzer. And he'll power straight ahead. And Balzer will get him a little closer to the original line of scrimmage. As again, all the Aces really want to do is just keep running plays, pick up yardage, keep that clock rolling, keep the ball out of the hands of the Raiders. 3rd and 12. And Balzer bounces off of one and spins. And Balzer with a nice gain makes it 4th and short as he picks up about a dozen to make, 4th and 12 now. So 4th and 3. As they change the scoreboard on me again. So 4th down, 3 yards to go. Ace is going to go for it. Snap. Hand out Balzer, and I think he should move the chains. Balzer. Another strong carry, and sure enough, 1st down Aces. So the Aces retain possession, get a fresh set of downs, and we'll see if they even get another play off here. They don't need to before the fourth quarter rolls around, down to 5 seconds. So the last few seconds of the third quarter are going to tick off. That's it. And that's the end of the third. So after 3, the Aces have added to their lead significantly, and they are now on top of the Lakota Raiders 49-12, our third quarter score. Well, we'll get ready to switch ends of the fields, and the Aces will have the ball 1st and 10 when we return to action. But again, we're going to take some time right now to say a huge thank you to the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio. They underwrite our football broadcast coverage here on Hicksville Community Television. And to be honest, we appreciate them even more whenever we are on the road as we are here tonight, because quite honestly, our ability to be able to travel with the Aces and bring you these away games would not be, we wouldn't have that ability if it were not for the generous underwriting support of the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships. They provide, again, the resources that allow us to be able to go on the road with the Aces. And we want to thank them so very much. Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick, Jim Schmidt Ford, the Jim Schmidt Truck Lot, and online at jimschmidtauto.com. Klima pitches it to Balzer. Balzer finds a hole. Balzer still on his feet. Balzer heading towards the end zone, and they take him down. And a flag thrown near the end of the play. So the laundry comes out near the end of that play, and we'll see what the official determination is. It was a first down carry by Balzer if the play stands. And it looks like they're going to be moving back, and it's going to be a hold against the Aces. And they're going to say a horse collar tackle on Lakota, so those will offset. So we'll do a do-over. So the offsetting penalties, and we just pretend that whole sequence didn't happen. It remains 1st and 10 for the Aces. Clock continues to roll. And almost gets him to jump with the hard count, but this time it's going to be Klima holding on to it. And he'll be taken down about the 20. Klima gets to about the 24-yard line. So Klima on the quarterback keeper gets himself a few yards to put in the stat book tonight. Set again. Klima pitches it out to Balzer again. Balzer making his way through traffic. He dives forward, and that should be another first down for the Aces. So Balzer takes him down to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10. Aces will set. Klima waiting. Letting a few more seconds tick off of the clock. Takes the snap. Hands it to Balzer. Balzer looks like he might have lost about a yard. I think it's 2nd and 11. Down to about 9 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. Be about 9:15 when they snap the ball. Klima's going to hold on to it himself. Klima, and he'll power forward. And it looks like there's a ball loose, but we'll see whether it's a fumble or down by contact. I don't think so. Nope. 3rd and 4 for the Aces.
Number 20, Aaron Klima on the quarterback keeper. Part down by number 27, Colin Sheehan. Makes it a 3rd and 4.
Down to 8.5 minutes to go here in the contest. Klima. And again, he'll hang on to it himself. And he'll get him a couple more. It'll still be 4th and a long yard. I'm going to say officially 4th and 2. Looking at where they placed the ball, it's like 1.5 yards. And the Ace is obviously going to go for it, 4 down territory. Now powering forward, and that should give the Aces 1st and goal just inside the 10. And it does. So it's a 1st and goal for the Aces. The ball placed just inside the 10-yard line, and the younger players getting a chance to get some varsity playing time. They don't often get the opportunity to put some points on the board, so they're going to probably try to do just that. And brought down with, might have been just a little bit of a loss. They were just inside the 10-yard line, and I think the result of that play, they're going to be just outside the 10-yard line. So 0.5 yard loss, 2nd and goal. So a little more than 10 yards to go to the end zone. Klima. And that'll be an encroachment. So Aaron Klima gets them to jump with the hard count, and they'll get 5 the easy way. That'll make it 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line, or just outside the 5-yard line. And Klima hangs onto the ball himself. Into the end zone, touchdown Aces. So the 2nd string gets themselves a touchdown here late in the game. Again, you really, on the one hand, you look at it and it's 55-12, and you sort of be like, oh man. But on the other hand, you got to realize the younger kids don't often get the opportunity to come in and put together a drive and go into the end zone. So you really can't fault them for doing so when they have the opportunity. Ready to attempt the extra point. Kick is no. It was good? Okay. I saw him kick that, and I saw the trajectory, and I thought for sure it was going to go underneath the crossbar, but I probably would have got it right, except Brian stepped right in front of me at that moment, so I couldn't see through him. So 5:54 left to go in the contest. It's now 56-12, Hicksville. As a few more of the faithful start to wrap things up for the evening here. We still have 5:54 to go, and the Aces will be kicking the ball off to the Raiders. And it looks like the Raiders are going to have their younger players come onto the field, and they're going to get them some varsity playing time as well, as this game really is out of reach at this point. And the last thing that either squad wants to do is to have some of their better frontline players get hurt, and with a wet field like this, your foot slips out from underneath you. You get a good hit that you aren't expecting. So rather than have that to happen to anybody, just let the younger kids play out this last just under 6 minutes, keep everybody in good shape, and then get ready for next week's action. Scooped up and brought down. Well, not yet. They're still trying to get him down. He wasn't going to give up. He made it to the 9-yard line. So, change of possession. They'll get the personnel switched. And then they'll start the clock back up. It'll be 1st and 10 for Lakota from their own 9-yard line. And they were doing some very, very last-minute substitution, the Lakota Raiders were. And I think rather than risk either getting 5 yards for an illegal substitution or perhaps having an extra man on the field or have somebody not all the way into position when they snap the ball, they call their second timeout of the half. That stops the clock with 4 minutes, 58 seconds to go in the contest. Again, the end result not in dispute here. It's going to be another win for the Aces. They'll up their record to 3-2. And get ready for GMC football action coming up next Friday.
Nice job, ladies. Number 4, Daniel Schmaltz on the quarterback keeper. For number 5, Nick Hamilton. And number 13, Jackson Bertler.
So quarterback keeper.
No gain, please. Second and
No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. Raiders will break huddle. Schmeltz, the freshman at quarterback. We're in number 4. Schmeltz gets the snap. Rolls out, going to hang on to it himself, and he's going to be thrown down, but he'll pick up some yardage there and get out to about the 12-yard line. Bergman's the one who got him. He'll pick up about 3. It'll be 3rd and 7 for the Raiders. And again, not at this point, like I said, it's academic. They're not in any kind of a hurry up or anything along those lines. They're just going to want to play this game out and, again, get their younger players some good experience out there on the field in varsity conditions on a Friday night. There's a snap, dropping back to throw. Ball is in the air. He's got a man open, and it's caught. A nice catch, still on his feet. Pass went to number 24, Ben Hovis, and Hovis hauls it in, and he'll take the ball down to the 47-yard line. So 1st down for the Raiders, and a nice catch-and-run play. And again, that was Schmeltz to Hovis. Ben with the reception. 2.5 minutes to go in the contest, and the Raiders break huddle and come up to the O-line again. Schmeltz gets the snap. Hands it off. Not much there. The carrier, Elijah Franks. And Franks looks like he lost about a yard. Make it 2nd and 11. We go under 2 minutes. Again, things move very quickly when the running clock is instituted. And you find yourself usually pretty close to playing the game in real time, which does not happen very often. Snap, Schmeltz, ball in the air, and that one incomplete. That'll make it 3rd and 11. Again, we want to say a huge thank you to the Lakota Athletic Department. Nice facilities here. It's been a pleasure to be here tonight. They set us up and got us a good broadcast spot, and we really appreciate it, and we thank them so very much. Snap. Schmeltz puts the ball in the air, and it's going to be picked off. Intercepted by the Aces. A flag on the play. And that's Klima just running around, trying to take as much time off as he can. But we'll see there's a flag on the play. So we'll see what the result of this is. Because it might be interference, because it looked like one of the Aces might have pushed the receiver out of the way before the ball got there. Yeah. And that is indeed the call. The reason why the Aces were able to get in great position and make the interception was because one of them had clocked the receiver from the Raiders so that he was not able to make the catch. Only you can't do that before the ball gets there. You got to wait until they got the ball. So with the penalty, the Raiders get the ball back. The interception is annulled. And they'll advance the ball, but that'll probably do it, as I think that's going to be the last play of the game. Final seconds will tick off, and that'll do it. Your final score here tonight from Lakota Field. It's the Aces winners on the Kansas Lakota homecoming night. They spoil it for them. Aces are going to go home with a 56-12 victory here tonight. And again, we had some crazy weather, and that contributed to a bit of a scoring explosion just before the half. But the Aces, again, just managed to get that lead, and then they added to it, and they kept getting it further and further afield, and finally they institute the continuous clock, and after that it was pretty much all she wrote. So a victory for the Aces. That'll make the, it's about a 95-minute ride back to Hicksville from here, so that'll make the bus trip a little bit easier for the Aces here tonight. And it should put them in a good frame of mind. They've won their last two. And, of course, next Friday they return home to Aces Field, where they will be hosting the Edgerton Bulldogs for week number 6. Hard to believe, week number 6 already past the halfway point of the regular season. And it'll be week number 3 in the Green Meadows Conference. So we want to say, again, a big thank you to our football broadcast underwriters, the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio, Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick, Jim Schmidt Ford, the Jim Schmidt Truck Lot, and, of course, online, JimSchmidtAuto.com. Again, a big thanks to the Lakota Athletic Department and to you for tuning in and joining us. I hope that you enjoyed the coverage here from Lakota Field tonight. So with that, we're going to wrap it up one final time. Final score, 56-12. The Aces victorious tonight For Brian Williams running the camera, I'm Bill Murphy with Hicksville Community Television, wishing you both a good night and good sports.